What if you could walk through the world untouched? What if no insult could trigger you? No chaos could shake you? No setback could break you? What would your life look like if fear, doubt, and anger no longer had a voice? If rejection, failure, and criticism couldn't reach the core of who you are? The goal isn't to live in a world without adversity, it's to become someone the world cannot disturb. Someone whose strength isn't loud but still calm, centered. Someone who moves like water, unbothered, unfazed, unbreakable. Fear is not the enemy, reaction is. Fear isn't the problem. Anger isn't the problem. Life will throw fire at you, let it. The real weakness is letting the world pull your strings like a puppet. Every time you flinch, lash out, or spiral, it's not the world that wins, it's your lack of discipline. But that ends today. This isn't motivation, it's a recalibration, a shift in how you think, act, and carry yourself. Because your power doesn't come from controlling the world, it comes from not needing to. The moment you stop giving external chaos internal control, everything changes. People lose power over you. Problems shrink. Your mind, your most valuable weapon, becomes razor sharp, clear, and steady. The illusion of control. We grow up believing that if we work hard enough, plan well enough, think long enough, we can control everything. But that belief is a lie. Life is chaos by nature. The weather changes. People change. Circumstances shift without warning. The tighter you try to grip control, the more it slips through your fingers. Yet, this illusion keeps most people anxious. They try to manage every outcome, every conversation, every emotion. They obsess over what might happen, what they should have said, what someone else is thinking. But here's the truth. The more you try to control what you cannot, the more you surrender control over what you can yourself. There are only two things you truly own in this life: your actions, your attitude. Everything else, your job, relationships, reputation, plans, is subject to external forces. Trying to control it all is like yelling at the wind. It exhausts you, frustrates you, and leaves you powerless. The discipline of detachment. You must learn the discipline of detachment, not apathy, not giving up, but the ability to remain calm while the world moves around you. The ability to observe without needing to intervene. The ability to let go of what you can't shape and instead shape what you can. Your mindset, your habits, your response. Most people are so reactive, they don't even realize how controlled they are. One harsh comment ruins their day. One minor inconvenience sends them spiraling. One rejection has them questioning their worth. That's not strength, that's slavery. You're not free if your peace can be stolen by something as small as someone else's opinion. The path of internal mastery. There's a different path, a path of internal mastery, where you shift from asking, "How can I control the world?" to "How can I command myself?" When you walk that path, you begin to experience something rare: stillness, a calm in the middle of the storm, a power that doesn't come from domination but from indifference to chaos. Understand this: control is not force. It is freedom from needing force. You let people be who they are, and you remain who you are. You let life unfold as it does, and you stay rooted. You stop trying to manage every emotion, every reaction, every outcome, and instead you become unshakable. Because the strongest man in the room isn't the one who speaks the loudest. It's the one who doesn't need to speak at all, the one whose silence says, "I am not moved, I am not rattled, I am not afraid." That's the power we're building here, and it starts by killing the illusion that you need to manage anything but yourself. Let the world do what it will, you stay still. The cost of reactivity. Most people live in a state of constant reaction. They don't respond to life, they react to it, like a pinball tossed around by every word, situation, glance, or piece of bad news. Someone cuts them off in traffic, anger. A text goes unanswered, anxiety. A post online, instant judgment. With each reaction, they lose a little more power, a little more control, a little more of themselves. Reactivity is the death of personal power. Why? Because when you're reactive, you're not deciding, you're being controlled. You're not living from intention, you're living from impulse. Your emotions dictate your behavior. Your environment dictates your peace. And the result? You become fragile, easily triggered, easily thrown off course. You live at the mercy of everything around you. Think about how much time you've wasted because of reactivity. How many hours spent replaying a conversation in your mind? How many goals delayed because you were emotionally drained by drama? How many restless nights caused by something someone said online? The cost is immense, not just in time, but in focus, energy, and clarity. The the simple, brutal truth. If your peace can be disturbed by external noise, your peace was never real. What separates the exceptional from the average isn't talent, it's emotional discipline. The ability to feel but not flinch, notice but not overreact, hurt but not collapse. You don't become unshakable by avoiding adversity. You become unshakable by choosing stillness when adversity shows up, rewiring your brain. Every time you react emotionally, you reinforce a loop in your brain, a habit, a neural pathway that says, when this happens, I lose control. If you don't disrupt that pattern, it becomes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as calm and focused and start believing you're just emotional, just sensitive, just someone who can't help it. But you can help it. You can rewire your mind. You can train yourself to pause, to breathe, to observe without attaching. And it starts with awareness, realizing that your first impulse is not your truth. It's a program, a default. But you are not your default. You are the driver. And the moment you claim that role, everything begins to change. How to train emotional mastery. Start small. When you feel yourself triggered, pause. Don't post. Don't reply. Don't react. Just notice. Let the emotion pass through you like a wave. Practice the pause. Before reacting to anything, pause. Count to 5. Take a breath. Ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Is this part of the mission or a distraction? Reframe your language. Eliminate drama from your self-talk. Instead of this is a disaster, say, this is a challenge, but I've handled worse. Train under pressure. Expose yourself to discomfort on purpose. If criticism bothers you, read criticism. If failure rattles you, fail often and learn to keep going. Remember the mantra, not everything requires my reaction. Just because it happened doesn't mean you need to comment on it. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you need to express it. Silence is strength. Silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the highest form of strength.